I stood there, paralyzed in my own wedding dress, while my mother looked me dead in the eye and told me that my younger sister deserved the brand new car my in-laws had just gifted me, because, in her words, I already had everything, and my sister had nothing. Imagine being at the peak of your happiest day, surrounded by flowers and music, only to have your own mother try to hijack your wedding gift to compensate for your sister's life choices. Was I wrong for losing my cool and banning her from the reception right then and there? Or would you have done the same thing if your mother tried to give away your property in front of all your guests? I really need you to hear the whole story before you judge me, because this wasn't just about a car. It was about 24 years of being the responsible one. While my sister, Chloe, was treated like a fragile glass doll that everyone had to protect. To understand why this moment broke me, you have to understand the dynamic of my family. I've always been the daughter who worked hard, got the scholarships, and never asked for a dime. My sister Chloe is 2 years younger than me, and from the moment she was born, she was the golden child who could do no wrong. If I got an A, it was expected. If Chloe managed to wake up on time for school, my parents threw her a party. My parents, especially my mother, Diane, have this weird obsession with fairness. But their version of fairness is actually just taking from me to give to Chloe so that we both end up at the same level of comfort, regardless of effort. When I graduated from college and got a high-paying job in tech, my mom's first reaction wasn't congratulations. It was, now you can help Chloe with her rent, since she decided to drop out of hair school. I refused, of course, and that set the stage for years of tension. Then I met Mark. Mark is the love of my life, and his family is incredibly kind and, frankly, quite wealthy. They've always been generous, not because they want to show off, but because they genuinely value family. When Mark and I got engaged, my mother's eyes didn't sparkle with joy for my happiness. They sparkled with the potential of what Mark's family could provide. Throughout the wedding planning, she kept making comments about how lucky I was and how unfortunate it was that Chloe was still driving a beat-up sedan that broke down every other week. I tried to ignore it. I paid for 80% of my own wedding just to keep my mother from having any creative control. But Mark's parents insisted on handling the rehearsal dinner and a special surprise gift. On the day of the wedding, everything was perfect. The ceremony was beautiful. I felt like a princess, and for a few hours, I actually forgot about the family drama. After the ceremony, during the cocktail hour, Mark's parents called us outside to the driveway of the venue. There, tied with a massive red ribbon, was a brand new top-of-the-line SUV. I was floored. It was more than I ever expected, and I was crying tears of pure gratitude. My in-laws hugged me and handed me the keys, saying they wanted us to start our new life with safety and reliability. That's when my mother stepped forward. She didn't hug me. She didn't thank Mark's parents. She walked straight up to the car, ran her hand along the hood, and then turned to me with this sickeningly sweet smile. She leaned in close, so only I could hear, and whispered that Chloe had been crying in the bathroom because she felt left out by such a grand gesture. Then she said the words that changed everything. "You know, honey, Mark's parents are so rich, they won't mind. You should give the keys to Chloe. She deserves the car they gave you, not you. You already have a great job and a husband. Chloe has nothing. This would be the ultimate wedding act of kindness." I felt the blood drain from my face. My mother was actually suggesting that I hand over my wedding gift, a gift from my new family, to my sister because she was sad. I looked over at Chloe, who was standing a few feet away, smirking behind a tissue, clearly waiting for the handover. I want you to really think about this situation I was in. I was standing there in my white dress, holding the keys to a gift I didn't even ask for, while my mother tried to trip me into giving it away to my spoiled sister right in front of the people who bought it. Before I tell you how I handled the rest of that night and the massive fallout that followed, I want you to pause and comment below. What would you have done? Would you have tried to keep the peace to save your wedding day, or would you have snapped? I stood there for a second, my hand shaking around the keys, and I realized that if I gave in now, I would be giving in for the rest of my life. I looked at my mother and said, "No, absolutely not." Her smile vanished instantly. She started whispering aggressively about how selfish I was being and how I was ruining the family harmony. On my own wedding day, she actually had the nerve to say that Mark's parents would think I was a charitable person if I gave it to Chloe. I finally had enough. I didn't whisper back. I spoke loud enough for Mark and his parents to hear. I told her that she was being incredibly disrespectful to me and to my in-laws, and that if she mentioned Chloe deserving my belongings one more time, she could leave. She tried to play the victim, bursting into fake tears and calling my dad over, claiming I was attacking her. Chloe started wailing about how I always get everything I want. That was the breaking point. I called over the security we had hired for the venue, and I had my mother and my sister escorted out of my wedding before the cake was even cut. My dad followed them, looking ashamed, but he didn't stay. The rest of the reception was a blur of mixed emotions. Half the room was whispering about the scene at the driveway, and the other half was cheering me on. Mark was 100% on my side. He was actually disgusted that my mother would try to redirect his parents' generosity. But the aftermath has been a nightmare. My mother has been blasting me on social media, telling everyone that I abandoned my family and that I'm too good for them now that I married into money. She even tried to contact Mark's parents to ask them to buy Chloe a car, since the wedding car caused so much trauma. My in-laws blocked her, thank God, but my relationship with my side of the family is completely scorched. I haven't spoken to them in 3 months, and honestly, it's been the most peaceful 3 months of my life. Looking back, I realized that my mother never saw me as a daughter. She saw me as a resource to be tapped for Chloe's benefit. Standing up for myself at my wedding wasn't just about a car. It was about setting a boundary that should have been there decades ago. I lost my family that day, but I gained my self-respect and a husband who actually sees my worth. Like this video if you think I did the right thing by kicking them out, and subscribe if you want to hear more stories about standing up to toxic family members. Also, let me know in the comments how would you handle a mother who tried to give away your wedding gifts. I'll see you all in the next story.